Hey y'all, hey, how are you all doing? I am doing fine. I'm doing fine. Haven't been up here in a second. You would think I would have all the time, right? Being that I got all the time. But honestly, sitting down, pulling myself together, because I keep a scarf tied around my head these days. Yeah, it feels kind of not easy to just pop up here and talk to y'all. Let's move this little sweater. I never feel camera ready, which to me also says there's something to be said about actually spending money on the things. And you know, we talked about this. This is a budget review video. In case you don't know what we're doing, what we're talking about. We're going to catch up and we're going to go over our budget from last month, how I spent my money, how things are looking. And of course, with that comes any idea I have related to money. So one of the things I was thinking about is this. You know, one of the things I had cut from my budget was eyelashes. Still ain't got my nails done. Oof. Things like that. Probably, I don't know. You know, we think about if you don't have traditional employment, where can you cut back, right? And a lot of times our grooming takes a hit. Getting nails done, lashes, hair, things like that. But I realize I'm more motivated to get on camera when I'm ready to be on camera. If I'm not happy with how I feel like I'm looking, it makes me procrastinate actually coming up here. I know you guys don't really care, right? Because you guys see me look all kind of ways over the years, okay? So it's not because I feel judged by you all. I just don't feel inspired to show my face up here, right? So yeah, and I was like, all right, I should probably add lashes back to my budget. But honestly, I haven't even tried giving the magnetic strip lashes a try. So we're going to at least try them. I mean, we already purchased them. So the least we can do is try. But in this video, we're going to talk about the money, right? So y'all know the routine. On this side of the paper is what I projected. And then on this side of the paper is what actually happened. If it's highlighted in pink, I realize I didn't do my highlighting. If it's highlighted in pink, it means I did better than expected. And if it's highlighted in blue, it means I did not as good. Either I went over the budget or I didn't budget for it at all. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation and see what we learn from this budget, guys. Okay, so in the month of November, I projected that I would bring home after taxes $11,913. I actually brought home less. Not that much less. Look, I'm highlighting as we talk. I brought home $11,894. So not that bad. Just a little off, right? So with the money, this is what we did with it. $1,536 went to the mortgage. $111 the HOA. For gas, I said $40, and that was based off of what the bill was last month. But it's cold outside, baby. It's cold outside. And so the gas bill actually came in at $67. Not bad still. Electricity, I said $171, and it actually came in a little less at $171. And I was about to say, I think that's kind of good being that I'm home, but honestly, no, I wasn't. Wait, no, wait. I was at work for 2 weeks. We actually went back to work for about 2 weeks, and so I wasn't home all day. So we're going to see how this bill look in the month of December, because I do expect it to go up being that I'm home and I am addicted to my electric heater. I kick that thing on and I kick that thing off all day long because I'm usually at this desk editing videos, okay? That's how life is spent these days. Cell phone, $202. The internet, $82. Oh, and then let me talk about that. Once a year, you should have a time where you actually review your services, review your bills, review what you're paying for, review any updates. Did things go up? If they did go up, why? Question it. Did things go down, right? Are there more perks or benefits? Are there more programs? So sometimes it may require of you to actually make a phone call and get on the phone with a representative and just ask them, are there any things that you can take advantage of? Are there any other benefits out there that you didn't know about? Because a lot of times companies won't straight up tell you. They'll just kind of put it out there. And when I say put it out there, I mean put it out there in their back office and through osmosis, or maybe snail mail. Sometimes we don't always open up our snail mail. They may have told you that way, but they don't always effectively communicate these things, right? So once a year. So I actually did this. I was taking a look at my cell phone bill, T-Mobile cell phone. I went into the online, logged in, and kind of seeing what was there, what wasn't there. And what I noticed is that they added more perks that I did not know about, all right? And so the perks were, not only do they pay for Netflix, I already knew about Netflix, right? So we was already getting Netflix, but they also added Hulu, and they also added Apple TV. Had no idea. No extra money, right? I paid my bill, so clearly you kind of paying for these things anyway. But honestly, in the past, these things weren't there. My bill did not go up any. But yeah, these things were added. So I went in and I enabled those accounts. And so now we have Netflix, we have Hulu, and we have Apple TV that we're not paying anything extra for. Now, honestly, in all transparency, I am paying a little extra for Netflix because I am doing the, I don't know what you call it, but it's like the high def version of Netflix, because I have a really good TV, so they say. And with the really good TV, you want the really good quality. So I do pay extra from that. But if I was just doing the base, it would be free. But with the extra, they subtract what they would have given me for free from my high def account. And I'm sure Hulu and Apple TV probably have the same perks and benefits. But I just do the free one because I don't really watch Hulu or Apple TV like that. Okay. And so that's what I discovered with that. Another thing that I do is I also review all of my credit cards and just really look at the perks. Because again, the same thing with credit card perks and benefits. Sometimes year after year, they may take things away, and then sometimes they may add things. All right. So you want to take a look at those benefits and review them and see if they're still relevant to how you live your life. Or are there things that you can incorporate seamlessly, into how you live your life and things like that. Make sure, especially with credit card perks and benefits, make sure that you're actually using them. Are they up to be expired? Did you use the benefit? Can you use the benefit? In my case, we're getting ready to do a trip to New York, and I had $100 hotel credit on one of my credit cards. So I made sure that I booked that stay using that credit card so that I could take advantage of that $100 credit. Insurance, I said $503. It came in a little less at $495. Easy Pass, I said $25, and we actually spent $0 on Easy Pass because I did not really use the toll road like that for this month. The lawn service, I said $150, but I had already paid the lawn bill and I did not get another bill in, so nothing came out for November. My car, I said $450. I was paying a little bit of extra, but y'all, I only paid what was due, which was $337. And there's a reason why. I made a whole video as to why. Eye in the sky, but we'll talk about that a little bit further down the bottom, okay? Subscription services, $36, and that is for Paramount Plus, and that is also for YouTube Premium. Groceries, I spent $60 on groceries this month. Restaurants, I spent $183 eating out in the month of November. Did I go anywhere good? Let me look at my notes, because I do keep track of my expenses so that I will know when to cut back, when to say, you know what, girl, you've been doing a little bit too much. Right? So I do that. So let me see. If I look at restaurants, $183. What did I spend it on? didn't spend on anything good. Few seafood restaurants and some Starbucks. Okay, household miscellaneous, $195 went there, and then fun miscellaneous, $210 went there. Nails, I said $100, and I did zippity doo dah. Hair, we did nothing there, and lashes, we did nothing there. Okay. 401k, I did $1,785 there. And guys, I've been saying this wrong. I've been saying that my company does a 10% match for my 401k. And actually, they don't. They do something a little better. This is what they do. They do a 6% match. So if I do 6%, which I do more than 6% because I maxed out my 401k. $1,785 is my portion. But they match 6%, right? But then they also do 4%. So they do 4% regardless of if you invest or not. And then they do 6%, up to 6% of what you invest. And that is how we get the 10%, okay? Y'all know my job has come to an end, my contract, but I am still getting paid through my company because right now they have me sitting on the bench. And that's a term that they do when they kind of still look for a place to put me, okay? And then they are also still paying me on my paid time off. And right now I'm submitting 30-hour paychecks, time cards a week. So 30 hours a week. So I'm getting paid out on 60 hours. Okay. So yeah. And so with that, it also means that they are still honoring benefits. So they're still matching 401k and they're still doing HSA. They're still doing a bunch of different perks and benefits, which I'm going to continue to do to the max because there's going to come a point where I can't do it, right? Because I'm not going to have traditional employment anymore. And when we cross that bridge, we'll have some new videos about what I'm doing as far as investing, like how am I funding my Roth. And you know, I don't know. I haven't even researched them yet. The ways I'm going to be able to invest as an unemployed, early retired, entrepreneurial human being. Okay, so that's how that's going right there. And so again, HSA, $258. Extra mortgage, I did $320 extra to the mortgage because I still have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day, even without a traditional 9-to-5 job, I will be able to pay off this home, okay? So $320 went there. And then savings and investments. And this money goes toward my high yield savings account. This money also goes towards my IRA accounts. And this money goes toward my brokerage accounts, okay? So $1,300 extra went to those things. Travel. I said $650. I actually did $1,428. And here's how that breaks down. $650 is going toward a future cruise that we're going on, okay? We've had already started paying on before I realized I was losing my job. It is what it is. We going on a cruise. $110 went toward a getaway that I had with my girlfriend Carla and some of my other girlfriends, actually her friends, because it was for her birthday weekend and we did a staycation and that was awesome. And the fact that it was only $100 was from my portion of the sleepover. It was awesome. I'm going to have the video coming out one of these days. Haven't figured out what channel we'll put it on. Probably it's going to go on the travel channel, but this place was called Wellspring Manor, and it is in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. If you are in the DC metro area, please look it up. Please look it up. This place was really awesome. It is a traditional bed and breakfast, okay? So it was like you go there. I believe it's like a house that has about 5 bedrooms. You rent out one of the bedrooms, but in the morning, though, they do a traditional breakfast, and it was awesome. It was a great experience. So check that out, Wellspring Manor. I'm going to put their link in the description below, but super enjoyed that. $191 went to Thanksgiving. And let me answer this question too, because I got this question in the comments. Somebody asked, how am I doing? Am I okay? Like, how's the family doing? Because for them, they weren't used to me not going to Thanksgiving and spending Thanksgiving with my family. Some of you guys may know. I mean, you would have been here for year after year after year. But I do all kinds of things for Thanksgiving. I don't always do Thanksgiving with my family. So Thanksgiving is just not one of my holidays. It's not one of those favorite holidays of mine. It's not one of those holidays where I feel like I have to celebrate it a certain way. I'm really not into being into traditional Thanksgiving food like that. So I wake up sometimes on the day of Thanksgiving and I check the vibe. How do I feel? Where do I want to be? That's what it is. I usually have options for Thanksgiving. Even the year that I met Jay, which was on a Thanksgiving day, I woke up that morning and decided that morning I'm going to go home, Virginia Beach, for Thanksgiving. And I made the drive that morning, didn't tell anybody I was coming. And voila, met a whole man. And that was 7 years ago. Okay. Last Thanksgiving, we did a cruise for Thanksgiving. The family and most of the family took a cruise. The year before that, I went to a girlfriend's house, Donna Maria, and celebrated Thanksgiving with her family. One year, we was in Miami, and we celebrated Thanksgiving with Jay's family. So we are all over the map. So honestly, that's so good. I feel like that's probably a good 4 years, right? I didn't go do Thanksgiving with my family. So yeah. So nothing new there. Nothing new there. One of the things I always do with my family is Christmas, but Thanksgiving, not so much. Not so much. Oh, and then I spent $477 for an upcoming New York trip. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so yeah. So for Christmas, we're doing a little getaway in New York, and so that price, $477, was my portion of the trip. That was for one night at a hotel. I'm paying for one night. Jay's paying for a night, and then we're also doing a Broadway show, and G is going to be with us, and so that is a portion of what we're giving her for Christmas. And I want to say thank you, because a few people actually sent me cash apps to go toward G's Christmas gift. Y'all seen on that last video I shared the PowerPoint that she put together. And this wasn't me trying to get anybody to go in and get that baby gifts. I was saying how I'm not getting her any gifts. Jay's not getting her any gifts. Hopefully. We told her her Christmas gift is going to be the whole New York experience, because that's also what she wanted to do, right? And then she had the nerve to send a Christmas list on top of that, even though I told her, don't send us your list. And she was like, she's sending it anyway. So I share that with you all. And I just want to thank those of you who did send something in contribution to her Christmas, because I said, who am I to block that baby's blessings? Who am I to block her blessings? Just because I said no, don't mean that she doesn't get to receive the love that some of you all are sending her way. So I thank you all. Jay thanks you all. And G is going to thank you all. She doesn't know yet, but she's going to thank you all as well for that. So giving, I'm realizing I didn't write down giving. Let me see. Giving. What did we give? And I do my budget in every dollar. So even though you're seeing it on this paper, I feel like it presents better on the paper. I've done it all kind of ways over the years, guys. So I feel like it presents better on the paper. Plus, when I write it out, it kind of gives me this connection to the numbers. Like the numbers aren't just the numbers. The numbers are real. Like I'm writing out this number and I get to reflect on the number. So it just does two things for me. So that's why you see it this way. Giving, I gave $493 in giving. And I had said originally I was going to do $325. Because yes, I itemized everything. Same thing, a bunch of birthdays from the folks doing all the things. Nieces and nephews. I gave some extras to some YouTube channels. Just a little this, a little bit of that. Nothing major. Also, Cooper's Hawk Wine Club. For our anniversary, me and Jay's anniversary, I gifted him a monthly subscription to Cooper's Hawk. So that's $48 there. And it's because my baby is a wine drinker. He is a wine drinker. Me, not so much, because it makes me sleepy. And I really like being all alert all the time. I don't even like to wind down. I don't. When it's time for me to wind down, the way I wind down is I listen to certain kinds of YouTube videos that really help bring me down, and I usually fall asleep with that. Yeah, so. And then some of the things that were not on the original budget, on the original list, and kind of stuck on me, y'all, was one, personal property taxes. And y'all know we had a whole emotional breakdown because I discovered how much I owed in personal property taxes on my vehicle at the same time with y'all. I had y'all on and we saw it together, and I was taken aback, and I'm still taken aback. $1,616 is what I owe, and that was just the prorated amount. Personal property taxes here in Virginia are paid every 6 months. Because I hadn't even had my car for 6 months, that was the prorated amount. Because I'm leasing a car, I made the blind assumption that I would not be responsible for all of the property taxes on a car that I'm leasing. I thought I would be responsible for a portion of that bill, but no, that whole buck was passed to me. This is what I'm realizing. I feel really bamboozled. You know what? It should probably be a separate video. Let's just make that a separate video. We'll make that a separate video one of these days. Yeah, but I was just feeling really bamboozled. $1,616 went to the personal property taxes of that car. But one of the things I am super happy about and super feeling blessed about was the fact that I was able to pay that bill out of the income that I brought in the month of November. I did not have to tap into my emergency fund. I did not have to tap into savings. I did not have to tap into anything, and I had the money right there. So I am super fortunate, happy, and grateful about that. Still does not stop me from feeling bamboozled though. Does not. Art. I purchased an art piece, and that came to $111. Let me show y'all the art piece. All right, first of all, I'm gonna show y'all 2 art pieces I purchased. I'm gonna show y'all both. Hold on. Now, one of these art pieces I purchased is not showing up in the budget. The reason why is because I had some money refunded to me, and so I didn't have to kind of show it because I just used the refunded money since it was refunded on a credit card that had already paid the credit card bill. So I just used that to go toward this other art piece. Let me show y'all the first art piece that I bought, and I actually showed somebody this because they had asked something, and I had sent them a DM with the picture of the art piece. So I purchased this art piece from a Black curator. I'm not gonna say I love this art piece. I don't necessarily love this art piece or anything like that, but it's mine now. And this is, oh, I know what it is. When I had told y'all I was in Michael's buying frames and that whole thing, it was for this piece right here, okay? This is the piece. And I actually think one day I'm going to get a custom frame. But in the meantime, I just bought a floating frame for it because that's the way the people who I purchased it from was going to do it. They was going to do a floating frame. And I believe, did they tell me $150 for the floating frame? And I'm like, that floating frame, I seen that floating frame in Michael's. And so that's what it is. The glare on this is because it's still in the plastic. But this is the piece. What y'all think? Y'all can tell me what y'all think. That's the piece. But I do want a nice custom floating frame for it one of these days. Just not today. Now, the other piece that I bought, this is also from a local Black artist. This is my third piece of his, and I wanted it to go as a trio because I already have 2 pieces and I needed a third piece to go up there. And so I just went to the website and I ordered this, and this looks like this is piece 1 of 100, okay? And it's called Blow It Out. Here's the piece, and here's this one. This is the certificate of authenticity right here. Yeah, so This is this piece. And this piece is what would cost $111. And that is with the shipping and handling. I love art. I love collecting art. I do. I do. I see my home. I want my home to be like a whole art gallery. And even though my vision is to live a life of travel, I always want to have a place to land, right? To come back and land in between the moments. In between the moments. Yeah, so that's what that is. And then the last thing I purchased in the month of November was a hot tub cover, because the one we have has become water, what is it called? Water laden, water loaded, water boarded, soaked with water. So it's heavy and it's hard to get on and get off. And it's just time for it to be replaced. And so I purchased a new hot tub cover from the hot tub cover guy, and because I had to be a custom order, and so that came to $648, and that was a sale price. That's what I did with my money. So this left me with $250 remaining. So what I did with that $250 is I moved it over to December, because I know that there's a few other things that I need to purchase, that I want to purchase, that I'm going to purchase in this month of December. So I was just like, you know what, just move the money over there. And then at the end of the day, when the day ends, we'll move it to various accounts, such as my high yield savings account. And that's what I did. That's the story for the month of November. Let me see, anything else? Nope. That is it, y'all. That is it. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for looking at my art. The art is going to look so much better once it's framed. That's just the way it goes with art. But yeah, but those are the two newest additions to the family. Y'all, I got so many art pieces that are not framed, that are still sitting over there in that corner waiting to be framed. Think I don't even have wall space for them anymore. Oh well, that's the way. That's my way of supporting small businesses and local artists and artists alike. That's my way of doing it. So thumbnail.